This is a video to help you with the final decisions and sewing up of the sweet pea. So the sweet pea flower is a really unusual flower. It doesn't really have a head. It just has three rather large folding petals. And so for the first time with this design, I've actually given you an option of creating it with or without a head, subject to which way you prefer it. So once you've made the body and the head, what you're actually going to do is crocheting from the bottom up in one piece, you colour change, and then you add the petals onto that, and that's so that you have this choice to add the head on or not. Now, if you decide to not add that head on, it's actually very easy from this stage onwards. All you're going to do is gather these stitches in. So I've already sewn a piece all the way through those stitches. So if you decide to not go for adding the head on, you're just going to gather those stitches in like that, and you'd finish it off by putting your eyes here onto the front. But if you want to add a head to yours, and this really is a personal choice, sweet peas, they don't have a centre of their head. So it really was a tricky one to make a decision on, which is why it's really to do with which one you prefer, and both versions are in the pattern. So if you've decided that you want to add a head onto your sweet pea, the pattern's in there to actually create the head separately. So you'll have crocheted this round head as a separate piece, and all you would do as an alternative is sew this directly into that gap so it goes onto the top of your body and head. So you will actually get a head in the centre of your sweet pea flowers. So I'm going to show you with the head so you can see that in full, because it really is much easier. If you decide to go for the non-head version, you're just going to gather the stitches like this. So do a running stitch between them all. You pull that tight because that creates even more lovely folds in the petals. So you pull that tight, and then you just sew that close to finish that off before you sew your eyes on. But if you're going to add your head, what you need to do is sew this into the gap. Now, I've made my life a little bit harder by going for a contrasting head on this one rather than the same. But what I'm going to do is go down and just sew into the colour change line between the body and the head. So sew into that stitch there, and then up onto this one. What you can then do is gather those in even more. So pull those gathered stitches tighter, and then just sew those petals into position where you'd like them to be. So I'm going to add the arms and the legs on as well, so you've seen those stages. So when you're creating the arms, you're creating two different length arms. One is slightly longer than the other, and this is to represent that kind of twisting and curling foliage of the sweet pea as it climbs upwards. And then you add the tendrils on separately. So the tendrils, you just crochet those directly on wherever you would like to add them, and you've got small, medium and long lengths, so you can do those at random as well. So you've got three different patterns for the tendrils, and what you want to do is just spread them out either side of the arms when you've finished. Now you can either do that when you finish sewing up like I have, or you could do it when the arms are still detached. And all you need to do is put your hook in at the point at which you want to start one. Decide whether it's a short, medium or a long,